Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel again. um, we are going to play some more Cozy Dark. I'm going to continue the story I was playing last time. I want to continue playing and see how it goes. So, last time we were playing, we developed a settlement and a character. The settlement is named Sun's Haven. It is the national seat of the empire. It is a sprawling metropolis that cares about ancestor worship. The trouble of the settlement is the weight of expectation. Expectation is dragging it. I don't know if it's always dragging it down, but people struggle against it. That's the thing that causes people to struggle. And then the value is that we honor the past and that sunlight reveals the truth. And the skill is the magic of our ancestors. We then worked on an adventure concept. The concept that we got is that we are playing an adventure with a theme about awakening. An heirloom unlocks a strange ability, and I discovered that I need to destroy uh, the cursed lantern at the Withering Library, somewhere around there. That's not exactly what we decided on, but we created an NPC. Well, okay, we created a dynasty is really what we did, where I stole it from the Foundation series on Apple Plus, where okay, technical difficulties as my headset completely crashes. Anyways, we're back. We're recording my microphone. I see it's working okay. We are back. Um, I was just saying we created this dynasty of uh, dawn, day, and dusk, where day is like the current ruling emperor. His father, Dusk, is like the retired emperor. Dawn is like the emperor to be. And then when Dusk dies, dawn becomes dusk. No, day becomes dusk, dawn becomes day, etc. Um, but I decided that Dawn is about 14 years old. He's probably going to be one of the main NPCs in this game here. He is struggling against the weight of expectation of his father and his grandfather and all of his attendants, and he doesn't even know if he wants to be emperor. And like I think this is probably something that like almost all young people go through in a royal family, right? Because not necessarily I don't know if I want to be emperor, but it's like I was born into all this duty and obligation and like it weighs heavy on me, and is it even I didn't get a choice in this sort of thing. And so the first scene of our game started with him playing with a servant Twig, who he really shouldn't have been playing with. Twig is a young boy who's the son rather of like the emperor's personal gardener type person. Anyways, our character fits into this because they are the historian to the emperors. Their name is Litor Orns Todrest. They are a Corvani, which is a raven-like folk who hoard stories, secrets, and shining things. Their trouble is that I've lied about my lineage in this city that cares so much about ancestors and those who have gone before. He is a bastard and he has lied about it. If that ever comes out, it could ruin him. His values are that history repeats itself and that no stone should be left unturned. His skill is encyclopedic knowledge. He knows a lot about things because he is a historian. When we left off, Dawn had found this lantern. The lantern was placed in a part of the palace that people don't go to very often. Uh, he took it to Litor and was like, "What do you know about this? I found it and I feel weird ever since I've touched it." And Litor made a history check basically to find out if he knew what it was. Turns out he did. It is the lantern that indicates a prophecy is about to fall. And the prophecy says, when dawn finds the prophet's lantern, dusk will fall on Sun's Haven. The lantern belonged to a prophet from Ketha. And the last part we left off was Litor was in the royal library, kind of looking for information on how to destroy the lantern. He's having kind of a problem because he knows that destroying the lantern won't stop the prophecy. The lantern is an indicator, not a cause. So destroying the lantern still means the dusk will fall on Sun's Haven. But now it's about trying to save as many lives as possible and making sure the prophecy is fulfilled in the least damaging way as possible. And the lantern is clearly already hurting Dawn. We saw that the runes in gold and red that cover his body and swirl around to carve words in an ancient language have started to turn purple and silver instead. And like that's terrifying to Litor. And so Litor very much wants to destroy the lantern before Dawn is completely corrupted. He was in the library. He found a book that he thought was going to help him. I rolled a complication. We found Wrath, who is an Ashrot memory, a literal character formed of ash, animated by the memory of this ancient prophet that the lantern once belonged to, and now calls herself Wrath. She hid in the shadows, staring at Litor as he flipped through his books, and once he found the book he was looking for, she spoke words of power and turned the book to ash, and then inhaled that ash, incorporating the book into herself. When we left, Ash disintegrated herself, vanishing away. That completed the cozy phase of my game and means that we're going into the adventure phase. This is the phase that deals with going out into the world and doing dangerous things. Unlike other games where you might move room through room, like in a mega dungeon, Cozy Dark cares much more about action and objectives, so before you start the adventure, you must consider the situation and state your goal. So I'm trying to think about what our goal is here. We need to go on to this adventure, and I think that Litor saw Wrath. Litor knows. Let's find out. Does Litor know that Wrath is an Ashrot memory? I'm going to just make a general check here. This is going to be Veil plus Knowledge, so we're rolling at a 15, rolling 2d20 here. I got an 8 and a 9, which is 2 successes. I am already maxed out on Cozy, so I don't get any extra Cozy. But Litor does know what an Ashrot memory is. And I think that before he was in the library trying to find out how to destroy the lantern, but now he knows that Wrath is an active threat. Wrath vanished, but we need a way to trap Wrath. And I don't want to make it as easy as like I do one adventure and then Wrath is grabbed. So I think we need to travel to somewhere dangerous in order to gain something that will help us create this trap. So I'm going to roll a couple of things here. I'm going to go back to my random tables. One of the tables I have in here is locations. And I'm just going to roll on this location here and see if I get anything that sparks some interest. I got an 18. A lingering storm. Okay. A lingering storm. We've got these adventure modifiers of cursed and withered. So maybe we can do something. What if maybe we don't do lingering storm, but what if in this world storms have power? Litor needs to trap some of the storm, some lightning from the storm, or I think maybe even the storm might have some like withering rain effects here, where if you stand out in the storm for too long, it washes away memory. Sure, this storm washes away memory and makes the ancestors forget about you. People who stay out in the storms for too long end up as forgotten shells that people never remember interacting with. People, have conversations with someone, and then 10 minutes later, the person they were having a conversation with has completely forgotten about the conversation because this person this person's memory was withered in the storm. And it's not about their own memory, it's about other people's memories. I like this. I think that it leaves room for some neat, like, assassins and things like that being made inside these storms. Um, I do think that Sun's Haven is protected against the storms. So I think this is something where we have to venture out into a storm. And I kind of want a second location. I don't know that any of these locations are places I'm interested in. I rolled a 19, roll twice and combine. Rolled a 16, a rooted cavern. You know what? Yeah, there's this. cavern. I like this. Okay. People know that, especially the royal family, knows that sometimes you need to capture the storm to use it for your own ends. And so there is this cavern that's kind of all set up to do it, to do that. Um, but I don't think Litor wants the royal family to know that they are doing this yet. I don't think Litor is comfortable with the idea of day and dusk finding out about this prophecy. So we're going to go into the storm, into this cavern, in order to trap some withering lightning. That's our plan. So we have a plan and an objective here. Once I have a good idea of our objective, capturing withering lightning, you cut straight to the action of the adventure by making an engagement roll. When you start a mission, you cut to the middle of the action. To do this, you roll an engagement roll to see how things are going. The target number for an engagement roll starts at 9 and then is modified in the following ways. Does the adventure reflect your character's better nature or their shadow? If it highlights themes of hope, heroism, generosity, integrity, and similar things, increase the target number by 1. If it reveals selfishness, resentment, or their darker instincts, decrease the target number by 1. I think this is their better nature. I think this is heroism, honestly. He's doing this because he feels duty bound. He's doing this because he wants to prevent as much hurt and damage as possible. So we're going to increase the difficulty by 9. That actually makes it easier when we increase because this is a roll low system. So we're moving from a 9 to 10. Then we consider, do you know what you're getting into? If your character knows what dangers they might face and has prepared to face them, increase the target number by 1. I don't think we've done that. We know what dangers we might face, but we have not had time to prepare them. We leave the target number the same. So we're going to leave it still at a 10. Does this adventure determine the fate of a friend or ally? If so, increase. I think it does, so we're going to increase to 11. Are there any other elements I want to consider? I don't think so. I've got this idea. Our target number is 11. I'm going to roll 2d20. I've got a few cozy to spend here. Do I want to spend cozy to buy an extra die here to immediately put myself in a good position? I think I do. I'm gonna spend a cozy to buy a die. So I'm actually going to roll 3d20 here. And then we'll see. My target number is 11. I have rolled a 5, a 4, and a 1. That is 3 successes. Do I generate an advantage here? If I have a value, if I have a trait that fits, I can gain an advantage. No stone should be left unturned. Or that I'm Corvani. I think I do. I think I do get a value here. And so I'm going to generate an advantage going into this. First of all, I am in control of this scene. Things are going as planned. I'm setting the pace of the action. I gain a point of cozy. I don't know if that should continue to be true. I'm playing a bit with when you get. In fact, I don't think that is true. I'm going to take that out. if it's relevant, you have the... And, oh no. Of course I've ruined this. Adventure phase. This just happens anyways, because you get cozy when you have extra successes than you need. Okay. So, we know what we're doing. We know we have this target number. We need an advantage. Let's roll on our table here and see if we get a good advantage to just incorporate. Injury tables. Where are my advantages and why are they all the way down here instead of... Okay. All right, we're going to roll a d20 to see. I rolled a 17 for God and Magic. A long-lost spell, item, or ritual surfaces just when needed. Fascinating. So what if we incorporate that into kind of like a flashback here? I want to set the scene first. We see my character. They are a Corvani, they're a raven folk. They can fly, but there is no flying through these memory storms. Flying would be tantamount to suicide. Instead, they're wearing a thick cloak. They've got a hood pulled up all the way up over so that their beak is peeking out of the cloak, almost like a plague mask. They've got an umbrella huddling against the rain. The wind is blowing and screaming as my character pushes through it. It's dark. Things light up in this magical silver lightning that flickers across the sky from time to time. My character pushes his way into this. It's not really a cave, it's a structure that is it's got a lightning rod on top of it, and then inside the lightning rod coils down into a place where you can put a beaker, a glass beaker with a magical symbol. Litor pulls the beaker out, puts it in place, and then looks up and says, "Now I just need to wait for the storm to do its thing." And as he does that, he's got some time here and he finds a bookshelf. And I don't know that he's ever been in here before. He's kind of snuck his way in. This isn't a place that historians go, right? This would be the place for like one of the emperors or one of the emperor's mages or something like that, not for a historian. So he's never been in here before. He didn't know that there's this bookshelf in front of him. And the bookshelf provides, let's, uh, blueprints. And Ashrot trap. When you come up with blueprints for something, you need to give it items. I've got guidelines for this, I believe. Who knows if I can find out where they are, but it's in crafting, craft items. Sometimes that item, do you have a crafting table? Do you have a blueprint? I don't know that I've actually like in my head, I know how blueprints work, but I don't. Equipment and consumables? That's not really what I'm looking for, although it should probably go somewhere in here. A blueprint is simply a thing that has a list of items you need in order to craft an item. And in this situation, the Ashrot trap is absolutely an item. So I need withering lightning, which I am here to get. This is a core. You know what? I definitely have this. Where did I put? A recipe or blueprint should tell you the difference. They will always break down required ingredients into a list that includes the general materials and the core materials. General materials are things you need to craft items but aren't core to the item's identity. If you're making a sword, you might need jewels for the hilt or leather for the revs. But the core ingredient, the thing that gives the item its identity, is likely the iron or used for steel. Maybe I didn't actually. Okay. The way this works is you have at least one core item and then a bunch of general items, and then you find an appropriate crafting table and put them all together. I need Withering Lightning Core. I need Chalk, Arcane Chalk. Um, what's the opposite of ash? Water? Yeah, it might be water, like holy water. I don't like holy. Is there a different word we can use here? Something glimmering water. I like that. Glimmering water. And then it's got recipes for withering lightning. This is the lightning core. Uh, arcane bottle. We've got that. So we're here to make the withering lightning. The arcane chalk is lightning, or sorry, not lightning. It is chalk runes carved into chalk surface. Glimmering water is distilled water. Gold flakes. And like noonday sun. Noonday sun. Sunlight. I like that. Okay. Gosh, we haven't even really had like an adventure though. I do feel like something should have happened here. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that what's happened, we're in here, we're reading the books, and we find this recipe. And I think that's when two women walk through the door. They have pale skin and silver hair, and they've got that iconic writing in purple and silver scrawled across their uh, bodies in their magical tattoos. And one turns to the other and says, Wrath said he would be here. How lucky of us. The one person who actually knows what's going on, isolated and alone. Come, sister. It's time to destroy him. And the words flash across their skin, blazing into silver and purple light. And they both reveal, well, the magic creates these slim, long, curved swords, basically like katanas. And Litor realizes that he doesn't have the tools to fight these two. He is not a fighter. But the jar, the magical the bottle that's going to catch this lightning is still inside the device, and lightning has not striked yet. He's still waiting for the jar to fill, and so he can't just run away either. He's got to do something here. And so we are going to start a combat encounter here. I don't know if it's combat, is an action scene here. The way this works is each side generally has 3 points to it, and then we make rolls. If we fail rolls, the enemies fill their progress track. If we succeed rolls, we fill our progress track. If we fill our rolls here, if we fill our progress track, then we will succeed and get away with the bottle. If they fill their progress track, then I am defeated, and either I lose the chance to get the bottle, or they kidnap me, or something like that. We'll see how the fiction plays it out. Just for interest, if you have any dark when you're going into an action scene, you add that much to the progress track. So if I had 3 dark right now, instead of them having a instead of them having a 3 progress track, they would have a 6 progress track. And I apologize, my headset is cutting in and out here. I'm going to do this scene and then probably take off and let it charge. But they carve their swords, and the first thing he does, I think, is try to talk them down. He's holding this book. He's found the blueprint he needs for this Ashrot trap. Someone has put it here knowing that that's what the lightning is for, and knowing the prophecy, knowing that this trap would one day be needed, has put the book here. Um, and he looks at them and he says, You should know I am not the only one that knows what's going on. I am the historian to the emperors, and of course I have told Day that the prophecy is at hand. Killing me here will do nothing. And I'm going to use. He's trying to connect with them. I think he's trying to do heart. And I think this is resolute, honestly. Actually, it's deceptive. You know, he's trying to lie. He's trying to tell them that other people know what's happening, even though he's been keeping it a secret. So we're going to take our heart, which is 7, our deceptive, which is 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's an 11. We roll 2d20. I got a 14 and a 3. One success is good enough. I have one thing. The women, the two women look at each other and grin and say, "No matter. We don't care who you are. And if the emperors know, then that will just make things more interesting. Either way, we're here for you." And they start circling, moving around him, and one says, "Please, put the book on the ground and surrender yourself." And he is going to put the book on the ground, and he's going to try to tear out the page with the blueprint on it without them seeing. This is going to be another deceptive thing, so we're going whim plus deceptive this time, which means our target number is 13. We're going to go ahead and roll. I got a 5 and a 1. That's 2 successes. Do I get an advantage here? I get a cozy for sure. Uh, the last check when he said he was the historian of the emperors and things like that, I think he did. But I don't think this time he does. Um, so we get a bonus here. We're at 2 out of 3. They're at 0 out of 3. We're very much in control of the situation. He puts the book down. I put the book down, and I kind of hold my hands up and I say, "No need to hurt me. Of course I surrender. Of course I could not think to stand against the prophecy. I know as much as you do. The lantern has been found. The prophecy is going to happen. There's no way to stop it now, and I would not stand in the way of that." And the one of the women looks at the other and then looks at me and says, "Then what are you doing here? There's only one reason you would be here now, to get rid of Wrath, and we cannot allow that." And he says, "No, no, no, that's not why I'm here at all. I'm here because the Emperor needs some withering lightning for one of his projects. The mages were busy, and so they sent me." This is a desperate. He's still lying, but I don't think it's likely that they're going to believe him. I do think this is Win, as he's trying to think on his feet and come up with a lie that's going to save him. That would put the target number at 13, and I do think that's where the target number needs to go. But I think the difficulty for this is 4. It's not 1. It's not 2. It's 4. Because I don't think this is likely to succeed. I can only roll 2d20 unless I spend cozy. So I'm going to spend 2 cozy to buy 2 extra dice, bringing my cozy down to 1. And I need an extra d20 here. Wow. Just grabbing all my d20 today. My target number 9 plus 4 is 13. I got 3 successes, which is not good enough. I've got 1 more cozy. I'm going to spend it to re-roll my 14. I got a 2. Okay. This time he has invoked the name of the Emperor. This, I think, is going to let him take an advantage because it fits one of my traits here. So let's go ahead and roll on our advantages table here. We've spent all of our cozy, but this has gone really well. 13, an ancestral gift. An old heirloom proves useful in ways the player never expected. Interesting. What might that look like? I think it's got to be this giant lightning thing, right? Um, it's enchanted. We didn't know this, but it's enchanted to seek out nighttime runeborn. The ruling family are these daytime runeborn. The nighttime is the old empire that existed before this. This apparatus is really set up to defend itself against nighttime runeborn. And as lightning finally hits, we've delayed long enough to allow lightning to finally slam into the top of the lightning rod at all. This silver lightning comes spinning down these brass conductors, slamming into the bottle below, but it's too much for the bottle, and the mechanism would normally dissipate the remaining lightning, but instead it tracks onto these two invaders, these two nighttime runeborn. Silver lightning flicks out and turns the two to dust, leaving Litor standing by himself. And he goes over, he gingerly picks up the magical bottle, expecting it to be hot, but it's cool to the touch. And he leaves equipment. He's got the withering lightning that he adds to his equipment. And that's all of the scene we care about. We had the action moment, right? It was neat. After that, we go to the entanglement phase. This is the phase that deals with setting up future stories. This phase has two steps. First, roll a d20. If the result is odd, an entanglement occurs. Roll on the complications table and imagine how that affects the story going forward. If the result is even, there is no entanglement. Proceed back to the community phase. So we are going to roll a die, even or odd. We got even. There is no entanglement, meaning we go back to the community phase, and we have completed one entire phase of this game. I'm going to stop there. Quick stream today. I've got dinner to go make. My headset is dying, so done here. But thank you so much for joining, and I hope everyone has